Hey there, it's Jenny, and just as a reminder, if you enjoy this video, please leave me a thumbs up or a productive comment in the comment box below. We are going to plan my daily planner. You saw last week's, I did a little flip through, and these are some of the stamps that I'm going to use this week. Some of them are still available, and I will link them up for you below. And the ones that are not, I am so sorry. It's always such a bummer when they sell out. I'm going to be using the Close to My Heart Peach ink. I used that last week too. I can't help it. I love it. I'm really on a peach tangent, and this color is literally perfect. I'll link it up for you below in case you're interested. This little notes stamp set from the Ton has turned out to be really amazing. It covers what's already pre-written there in the planner, and I don't have to worry about seeing it. It says intentions, and that's perfectly lovely. Notes just works better for me. Now I'm going to use this stamp from Everyday Explorers to stamp the day of the week using the peach ink. Isn't that color so pretty? I'm just really into it right now. And then I'm going to use this roller date stamp to stamp the date using my VersaFine ink. You can get these anywhere. I think I bought this one a couple years ago on Amazon for like $6. Don't spend a ton of money on them. They're fabulous for so many projects. Now this full circle I'm going to use using the peach ink. It's from Studio Calico. The stamp is. The ink is still from Close to My Heart. And I'm going to stamp the background for my little cluster. I use this daily section, this big open task section. I use it for both my personal, like at home stuff, and I use it for work tasks and content creation tasks as well. I like to stamp, some sort of an accent in the background. And then I also like to stamp basically like some sort of functional, like says this is what I'm working on, but sometimes I stamp notes, sometimes not notes, I don't ever stamp notes. Sometimes I stamp work. Sorry, I was a little distracted. And it works great. It helps me, this big space needs to be broken down a little bit for me. And so this helps me make a difference between the home tasks and the work tasks. Obviously, I could have them all together. This just does a little bit of clarifying. Now, I've done the same thing on Tuesday. I've got my notes, I've got my day of the week, and I've got my date. And now I will do the background little circle. Isn't that pretty? I know I've said that like 12 times. I'm just so in love with it, I can't even help it. And then I will stamp the Everyday Explorers, what I'm working on right there. So as you can see, I don't go all the way across, I don't draw a line, nothing like that, but this makes it so that it's very distinguishable between the two sections. Now I do also like to change it up each week and put something down at the bottom that helps me plan my dinners for that day. So for example, this week I'm using the little place setting. This is an older stamp from Feed Your Craft that's no longer available, unfortunately, because it's such an adorable stamp. And I'm going to use the box from, I think the stamp set is called Mark It Up. Either way, I'll link it below. I love it. I use it all the time from Everyday Explorers. It's a really good size for marking activities or appointments or whatever you need in this one little box. It definitely gives me plenty of room to put down the things that I am working on or doing or going to. You get it. All right, so now I'm going to clean the stamp off. I'm using the same stamp cleaner and the same microfiber cloth. You don't have to clean your stamps off. You can just stamp the excess ink on a piece of scratch paper. I just prefer to clean them off. It helps also so that they remain a little bit stickier longer from the oils on your fingers and that kind of thing. Sometimes those can make them unsticky. If you have that problem where your stamp is no longer sticking, get 2 small bowls of room temperature water. In the first one, put 1 drop of dish soap. In the other one, put no soap at all. Give the stamp a little bath in the bowl with the soap. Just rinse it with your fingers. You're scrubbing it with your fingers, that kind of thing. Then rinse it off in the bowl with no soap. And then let it air dry, and all of the stickiness will be back, and it will be clean and wonderful. I have worked for several stamp companies. I've been doing this since 2014, working for different companies in the paper crafting industry, and I have worked for several stamp companies, and they all recommend the same thing. Just a quick little bath will help clean off any ink, the oils from your fingers, dust, things like that. So on Saturday and Sunday, I do something different, and we will get to that on Saturday and Sunday. But I do it differently, and I've thought about this, and I'm really not sure where to go because I don't really love the way the layout is. So I'm still thinking about it. So if you have any suggestions for me for Saturday and Sunday, let me know below. I don't need a full day. I don't usually put any tasks like to-dos or those types of things. I mean, sometimes if I have like one of those crazy productive weekends, you guys know the ones that I'm talking about, where you like just check a ton of stuff off your list, then yeah, maybe I could use those. But I also wouldn't have activities, so I'd have room, if that makes sense. Ordinary weekends though, I'm not making to-do lists. So I really just keep track of appointments or activities. And so I'm really struggling. I don't need a full page for those 2 days, so that's why I've been breaking it up. But I don't really love the way that it looks either when we get to it. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm still thinking about it. I'm actually just thinking about going to using a full day for each day, even though I don't need to and I don't really want to, just because I don't love the way that it looks. Now, there's a perfect example of I just wasn't I wasn't paying complete attention, and I missed a little spot to give the pressure to put the ink on the paper. And just a reminder, as I just got done telling you, I have been employed for stamp companies. I have been stamping for 20 years. I have been doing this a really long time, and I still make mistakes, and I could pretend like I didn't, but I do, and I'm not interested in pretending like I don't. Really, most of my problem is not technique, by the way. Most of my problem is lack of attention, but it's cool, whatever. All right, so I am we're dividing the page in half, making 2 columns, one for Saturday, one for Sunday. I find the center of the page so that I can see where I should stamp the headers. I just eyeball it, of course, but where I should stamp the Saturday at the top and where I should stamp the Sunday at the top. And in theory, this is enough space, so I don't need more space. It's just that I don't like the way that this looks. I don't think I would like washi any better, so that's why I haven't gone with that. I don't know. I really need to play around with it though, that's for sure. So maybe we'll try that next week. So I have stamped the bottom right down there, the meals, and we typically eat out on the weekends. We don't eat at home on the weekends. And so I put those little place settings at the bottom so that I could still record where we eat and those types of things. That made a lot of sense to me to do that. Now I'm just going to go back and write in all the activities and plans. I apologize that I've been talking so much and not specifically about the process. It's a little bit difficult, honestly, when you're doing the same thing day after day for 6 days in a row. There's only so many times I can tell you, okay, I'm stamping the background circle and then I'm stamping this working on. So it's one of those things that I'm trying to find other interesting things to include as well. So I'm adding the plans. These are really for me in the boxes, and then like my son's work schedule, which I don't have right now, so I'll have to add it later. I will usually just use a bullet point or a highlighter because it's not somewhere I have to go. And so I keep it in there because I like it for meal planning purposes and when I'm sort of just keeping track of all of the things, like where everybody is and that kind of thing. But I don't need it for my own personal planning per se. So adding it in a distinctive way or in a different way makes a lot of sense. That's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching and make it a great day.